now to tell our viewers pictures are of the Prime Minister in Samastipur. There's going to be a rally right now. Tejasvi in Saharsa. It's the battle that is heating up right here. In fact, pictures are of both, leaders of both the fronts in that sense who are holding a high voltage campaign in the state of Bihar. The Prime Minister in Samastipur and in Begusarai today. Tejasvi Yadav, of course, the face of the Mahagathbandhan there, who is in Saharsa. The Prime Minister in Samastipur interacting with the people there, also in Karpuri Gram. The legacy of Karpuri Thakur and also the attempt to woo the EBC voters really is on top of the agenda. Tejasvi Yadav also campaigning. The full campaign mode in that sense is on. Pictures are from Saharsa and Samastipur as we speak. I'm going to go straight across to India Today's Maria Shakil also getting in more on that big story. Maria joins us from Patna. High profile battle, high profile and high voltage campaign. Maria with Tejasvi Yadav and the Prime Minister, in fact, in campaign mode, in full campaign mode today in Bihar.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's the slog overs literally in Bihar elections, and that is the reason why both sides are going all out. The Prime Minister starting the campaign, and so is Tejasvi Yadav and the Mahagathbandhan launching their campaign in many ways from today. Because till 28th, it will be the flavor of the festivals because of Chhath Puja celebrations. And post that, there will be only 5 days left for the first phase of elections on 6th. Samastipur is where the Prime Minister has started his campaign from. The significance of the Samastipur cannot be missed. It is the bastion of late Karpuri Thakur, Bharat Ratna Karpuri Thakur. Karpuri Thakur's legacy is very important in the context of Bihar. He was the first EBC Chief Minister of Bihar, and in this election, the 36% EBCs are being wooed by both the sides, and that is the reason why the Mahagathbandhan has played that card of announcing the name of Mukesh Sahni as the Deputy Chief Ministerial face. They understand fully well that if even 4 to 5% of that 36%, a crucial vote bank of the EBCs, which constitute almost 125 castes, and subcastes, move or look at Tejasvi Yadav-led Mahagathbandhan favorably, then the picture could be very different on 14. On the other hand, you have the Prime Minister himself sending a message that when it is about empowering the backward classes, the BJP has walked the talk. That in the last 20 years of Nitish Kumar's government, there have been multiple schemes, particularly for the extreme backward classes. This is a very important constituency, as I've been highlighting. Their percentage and the numerical strength cannot be missed. Sneha, election after election, this is the constituency which has actually been the swing voters of Bihar. They are largely the silent voters. They decide towards the later part. They make they decide on the basis of their local candidates. And in a very, very hyper local election that we are witnessing in Bihar at the moment, where candidates are playing an important role, where people of Bihar will be deciding on the basis of the names of their candidates, this becomes important. In a close contest, every vote counts, and that is the reason why the extra reach out which is happening for the extreme backward classes by both the groups, be it the NDA or the Mahagathbandhan.
You know, Maria also talked to us a little about the Prime Minister ever since the campaign really started, has been focusing on, a tag that is stuck with the Mahagathbandhan, more so with the RJD of theirs being a jungle Raj of sorts. This is, again, a common refrain that we've seen really election after election, something that the RJD is trying very, hard to shed off, isn't it, in that sense?
Yes, so let's look at a statistic here, and perhaps that is the reason why the Prime Minister, the BJP is talking about what happened 20 years ago. In Bihar, which is the youngest state in terms of its demographic, close to 58% is under the age of 25. That's how young the electorate of Bihar is. That is why they have no memory of what happened 20 years ago. That's why this constant reminder of Jungle Raj coming in by the Prime Minister and other leaders of the BJP. They want to remind them of what they have not seen. That is why they are talking about it, as to let them not see what they have not seen already. That's why Jungle Raj reminder is coming in repeatedly. Sneha, look, in the context of Bihar, as we say that this is a hyper-local election, there is no overarching theme that we are seeing. But one thing is evident, that women voters, which constitute roughly around 50% of the electorate, because of the high migration that Bihar witnesses, they are the deciding vote. They are the decider in this election, as they have been in all the recent elections in the context of Bihar, be it 2020 or in 2015. And this voting constituency has two options right now. Should they go in with the BJP and the JDU, trust Nitish Kumar, who they have been trusting for several years because of direct benefit transfer of 10,000 rupees, or give a chance to Tejaswi-led Mahagathbandhan, who is promising 30,000 rupees per month for the Jivika Didis. That is the choice that the women have right now. Will they go with someone they have trusted, and because the money is already in their account, or will they go with a promise? Because that is in retrospect, in terms of what will happen, prospectively, sometimes in future. That is why we are saying that in the absence of an overarching theme, the direct benefit transfer becomes important. Tejaswi Yadav's promise of one job per family becomes important. This announcement of Mukesh Sahni as the Deputy Chief Minister for candidate for Mahagathbandhan becomes crucial. And the big image of Prime Minister Narendra Modi remains the dominant image. And of course, let's not forget, Nitish Kumar is the text and also the subtext of this election. The Sushasan Babu of Bihar, who has been governing the state uninterruptedly for 20 years, remains the central figure of Bihar. Will Biharis give him another chance, or will it be about 20 years of anti-incumbency of Nitish Kumar?
Absolutely, Maria. And all of this is also another interesting, fight that the NDA, or rather an issue that the NDA has raised about sidelining Muslims. We've heard from the NDA on taking on the Mahagathbandhan, on why no deputy CM face as a Muslim, wherein Mukesh Sahni has come out and said, what about you? You sideline the Muslims within your party, citing the example of Shahnawaz Hussain as well. That is another parallel bite or war, really, as far as the narratives are concerned, playing out in the state this time around.
Yes, so Sneha, look, I do not see Muslims divided, a divided house. They did go in with MIM in 2020 because that was an election in which Tejaswi Yadav was also at his all-time high. He was seen as a very fresh face. He was trying to build a new narrative. That was also an election which was perhaps an election where there was palpable anger against Nitish Kumar. In this election, there is no anger against the Bihar Chief Minister right now. So there is no anti-incumbency which is so palpable. Is it about voting out Nitish Kumar or voting in Tejaswi Yadav? That is the question that Biharis are facing. As far as the Muslims are concerned, the Muslim Yadav constituency of Bihar have they moved away? They did move away from Lalu Yadav briefly in 2020, when in Simanchal in particular, that they ensured that MIM candidates win. On 5 seats, MIM went on to win, and they had fielded 25 candidates. This was seen as a significant victory, Asaduddin Owaisi making inroads in Bihar politics. But out of that, 4 shifted soon after the election results to the RJD fold. So Muslims of Bihar may very well be the captive audience of Lalu Yadav. Will this generate a chatter as to why they are not getting an equal representation? If Mukesh Sahni can be projected as the Deputy Chief Ministerial face, then why is there no one from the Muslim community? Or will they be talking about relevance? Will they be talking about preservation? Will they be talking about issues of bread and butter, issues that impact this community most right now, which is about education? It's about ilm. It's about the necessity and the essential that this community needs education. And I think that is what the community is focusing on, rather than looking at political representation.